Hello guys and gals, Baselord here, and welcome back to my little Conquest rant. Don't worry, I didn't forget about it. I just haven't been in the mood to continue this for a while, but now I am, so let's get into it. So the first thing I want to talk about is what I think of the game as a whole. And I think, from a gameplay perspective, Conquest is great. It is... I think it's one of the best farming games I've played. And I say that loosely. I mean, it's definitely one of the best, but not the best, but it's still pretty damn good. It's very skill heavy, so you need to be very aware of the enemy's skills and your own skills, and it focuses a lot on enemy placement as well, so you need to be mindful of that. But once you get a hold of everything, it's a lot of fun. It's super duper fun. However, I do think some maps are kind of bullshit, like Chapter 17 with all the ninjas and traps and oh my god. And Chapter 20 with the wind mechanic, which I don't really like a lot. Apparently there's a pattern to it, but I never got around to learning that. There's Chapter 23 with Takumi, which is also a real major pain in the ass, because you have to turtle the chapter so hard. Because if you try to rush in, you just die anyway, so yeah, you need to take it really slowly. And I also listed Chapter 25 for bullshit, but I only think that is only on Lunatic, because the ninjas have a skill called Inevitable End, which lets all their debuffs stack, and they're also gonna be permanent, so you have you can potentially get minus 12 defense for the rest of the map. It's not fun, but yeah. Another point I want to bring up is I as a person, I can really enjoy a game for only its gameplay. If it has bad story and bad characters, I can still enjoy the game if the gameplay is good. As gameplay is my highest priority when it comes to enjoying a game. So yeah, I thought I will let you guys know that. And because of that, I can still enjoy Conquest, even though everything else is kind of lackluster. I don't think if you're new to Fire Emblem, I would not recommend Conquest to you right away, because I think its difficulty can be very alienating to new fans. Especially if you chose Horror Lunatic right away. But I like to say that for veterans, for veteran Fire Emblem players, I think Conquest is really good for you. I really recommend it. As a difficulty, it's fair most of the time, because it's your own fault if a unit dies. It's actually your own fault. It can be due to enemy placement, or you were not aware of where the enemy was standing, or you were not aware of their skills or stuff like that. But you'll learn eventually, so it comes with time. Now the second part of this second part of part 5, I guess it would be, is my solution to the story. And spoiler alert, I am going to spoil a bit of Revelations as well, because for my solution to work, I'm going to scrap Revelation as its own game, and I want Fire Emblem Fates to have a Sacred Stones kind of feel, where you actually just, from Chapter 6 and on, you have a road split, where you choose either Nor or Hoshido, right? Except that you don't meet up, except that you don't meet up later, but you know. And I kind of want Corrin to become Corrin is still going to be a major character, but I kind of want Corrin to be kind of not the center of attention, but I still want him to be important, or want them to be important rather. So I kind of want Corrin to become like Robin in Awakening, or not Mark from Fire Emblem 7, not that out of the story, but kind of somewhere in the middle, because that way the other characters can actually have some time to develop themselves, because I'm pretty sure that anyone who has played Conquest knows that the story is very, very focused on Corrin and Corrin alone, and it's not good. Like I know Corrin is the Avatar, and I think that really hurts the story and characters because I think Corrin becomes too important. But yeah, as I said, I'm going to try. Like I kind of want Corrin to be a side character, but still kind of important. I don't know. It's kind of difficult to do, but I would like to try to make it possible. Anyway, I'm going to jump into the chapters now, and chapter 7 I'm just going to jump right across, because I think it's actually fine as it is. I'm not going to talk about the maps themselves very much, but I'll probably touch on that a little bit. Chapter 8, however, I want to change that up a bit, because it's kind of dumb how it's actually played out. So yeah, first off, Felicia or Jacob doesn't run away. I think it's really dumb. I think they should stick to the group and Kilma just finds them eventually anyway. I think that will be a lot better. And just takes them in and blah blah blah. Elise spoiling their plan is fine. I mean, it's kind of in her character to do. It's kind of stupid, but I still think it's fine, kinda. I mean, I didn't mind it too much. But the thing I want to talk about next, though, is on the battlefield, you have the choice of either killing the boss or talking to the boss. Because I think that's going to be a big difference. Because you're going to have to kill a lot of people to get to the boss, so the thing about having no casualties and Corrin leaving everyone alive and stuff, I don't buy that. It's too dumb. So instead, I'm going to let the player choose to either kill Kilma or talk to Kilma and end the battle like on a non-lethal way. I think that's kind of better. And if you let Kilma live, Flora joins your party afterwards. But if you don't let him live, Flora is going to stay in the village. And you're not going to get her later either, through the my castle. Which I still think is kind of... I don't know, I'll get back to that, maybe. So if you kill Kilma, Corrin will feel shit about doing that. I don't know if it's going to cry or not, but... yeah, Corrin is going to feel bad. And that kind of sets the tone of how the rest of the story is going to be like, because it's going to be a lot of killing, and you know. So that's the few changes I want to make to Chapter 8. I mean, if you kill Flora, she dies. I mean, it's kind of funny to say that, because in the way that Fate is built, the characters don't really die, they just retreat, every single one of them, unless they're not related to Corrin, then they die, but yeah. Alright. Let's jump into Chapter 9 next, and I like to say that Hoshido sends Ashura to confront Corrin's army at Dragonfall, and hoping to persuade Corrin to come back to Hoshido, but she fails. Because Corrin has made their choice, and they are going to stay with Nor no matter what. And since Ashura cannot persuade Corrin to come back, she joins their party instead. Gameplay-wise, I have nothing to say really. It's a fantastic chapter, so yeah, that's about it. Chapter 10 goes fairly normal, but if you actually get down to Takemi, and kill him, he actually dies. He just straight up dies. As a normal human being does when you actually die in battle. If you don't, Camilla suggests that you take Takemi hostage after the battle ends, which makes sense to do. You don't let your enemy run away. And if you actually stumble across Hinata and Oboro in battle and you kill them, they actually die. And as I said, it's funny to say this because Fate just really handled deaths really weirdly in this game. Because they didn't have time to write a story with the characters away from the actual plot, so yeah, they just had to do it that way. So yeah. So that's my small changes to Chapter 10. Gameplay-wise, it's fine. I don't really see changing it much. I mean, it's difficult as all hell, but that's fine. I still think Chapter 10, gameplay-wise, is still the best chapter in the entire game, honestly. It's just that good. It really tests you as a player. So, Chapter 11, the Rainbow Sage. And I want to do it the same way as Chapter 8. If you can either choose to talk or kill the different characters on the map. And once you talk to, for example, like Rinka or Setsuna, they become green after you talk to them and they'll run away. If you actually decide to talk to Kaze, he will join you instead of because Corrin will like talk to Kaze and like well, convince him to join them because they're like gonna be like, oh, I'm going to change North from the inside and blah 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 blah. You know the usual stuff. If you decide to spare all the characters, you'll get the no casualties conversation, as it normally goes, that they suffer no casualties, blah blah blah, because you actually decided to spare them, which makes a lot of sense. However, if you kill everybody, like all the important characters included, the Hoshidans will curse you, and Corrin's gonna feel like shit. Like he should. And if you kill Kaze, you won't get Kaze. For example. Which makes sense. If you don't kill Hinoka, she, Corrin's army is gonna take her hostage instead. So now they have Takumi and Hinoka in, taken hostage, if you decided to not kill them, that is. And after the battle, Iago comes in and tells Corrin to kill the Rainbow Sage, and since Corrin has no choice, they kill the Rainbow Sage. And they feel shit about it, as they should. So that's my changes to Chapter 11. Gameplay-wise, I have nothing to say really, I like it. Chapter 12, the chapter where Elise falls ill. I think it's gonna go on as normal, honestly. Ryoma and his retainers are gonna try to convince Corrin to come back, but Corrin refuses to do that, because he has made a choice. And if you defeat Ryoma, he dies, of course, I mean, standard procedure. And if not, he's taken hostage along the other Hoshidan royals. Don't ask me how they get him hostage, it just happens, alright? After a battle, Elise tells Corrin about her dream about Gunther, which is what actually happened in the game, and it's like a foreshadowing to Chapter 15, which is alright. It's the game kind of makes obvious that Gunther is not dead by that point, but I guess it works. Alright, so the Chapter 13, it's gonna go on as normal. Except that Takumi is not going to be in the conversation before the battle starts, because either you have him captured or he's dead. So he's not going to be on the battlefield either, by the way. So yeah, that's that. So yeah, in the battle you can either spare or kill Reina, Orochi, and Scarlet if you want to. If not, they die, of course. But if you do, they're green. And they're on the way, as usual. The enemies won't attack them. And after the battle ends, once Ashura and Corrin notices that Hans is going on a rampage, Corrin decides to kill Hans to stop him. And Corrin is just gonna take the consequences, because from what Corrin stands for, and like justice and not killing everybody and blah blah blah. He's gonna kill Hans to stop him from killing more people. Which makes sense, that what he should have done. Yeah, I told you before, this chapter is exactly why I disconnected with Corrin altogether. I mean, it just didn't make sense what he did in the main game, and I think that's gonna fix it a little bit. And they just tell Garen that Hans fell in battle, simply put. That's all they're gonna do. Hopefully he's gonna fall for that. You never know with Yago, though. And Chapter 14, the chapter where Ashura dances for Garen, it's gonna go as normal. And it is not really implied in Conquest, but if you play Birthright, you know that Ashura has like this Like, the player sees Ashura as Ashura on the stage, but she actually has, like, a spell over her that hides her true identity, so that's why they can't see her. But you don't really know that as the player, which confused me a lot, because I could see Ashura as Ashura, but the others didn't. And the game doesn't really tell the player that. And that's why I thought it was dumb that they didn't really notice it's Ashura, but it's actually somebody else. So, like, it actually, like, she looks like somebody else at least, but yeah. Anyway, I'm ranting again, or rambling, yeah, I mean. So Corin, before the battle starts, Corin talks to Garen about Hans's brutal, like, rampage in Chev, and tells her, like, oh, he falls in battle and blah blah blah. But Garen becomes pissed that is, like, talking so much about that, and Leo takes away Corin, as it happened in the main game as well, and like, before Garen bursts of anger, because he's gonna do that. And then the chapter goes on as normal. Leo scolds Corin for talking so directly to Garen and blah blah blah, and then they talk about, like, not killing the dancers and stuff. But the actual map, I'm not sure if it would ruin the chapter entirely, but I kind of wanted to implement some dancers into the battlefield, enemy dancers. I know it would be like really mindfuck, but it would be so cool if it actually had the dancers who are like trying to run away from you, and then they could, like, dance for the enemy and stuff like. I know it sounds crazy, but I think that would have been a cool mechanic. But and it would have actually shown that you're actually killing dancers, and you can choose to spare them or not, as usual. I mean, because Corin is such a kind character and stuff, I think it should be a thing that you can actually choose to spare people or not, instead of the game choosing to spare for you. You know, going all Undertale style in here. Alright, so the last chapter I'm going to talk about before we actually go into the other stuff is chapter 15. I wanted to go more or less the same. They're going to find Gunter and all that, more or less the same. The chapter map-wise, it goes the same. After the battle, though, when they jump off the cliff and land in the bottomless canyon, Ashura tells Corin about Garen and stuff, shows him what happened in the crystal. The crystal does not break. And before she tells him about what happened to Garen, she tells him that, like, only Corin, or actually, what if Corin can't see through the crystal? What if? That's an interesting idea. What if only Leo can look through the crystal? Because she said that in the game that only a high-level mage or something could look through it. So that would make sense that they need to take the crystal to Leo. Because she tells Corin about Garen and blah blah blah, but he doesn't believe her at first. So then they decide to take the crystal to Leo. That makes sense. Yeah. And in the middle of the conversation, when Ashura is telling Corin about Garen, Gunter comes in halfway in the conversation and talks about the part where Garen wanted to offer him a higher position, but he refused, and then Garen decided to slaughter his family and his entire village and stuff like that just because of that. Because I think, if I'm not mistaken, that's exactly what happened. And I think that would be nice for the player to know this, because it's only told, the Gunter only tells you this in Revelations, and I think it's bullshit, because I think that's something that players should know. So Corin and Ashura takes the crystal to Leo, and Leo peers into the crystal and sees, like, Garen is now a slime monster on the inside and blah blah blah. And he tells the rest of the family, and like they don't believe him at first. So he seeks audience with Garen, and he confronts him about all this, like, oh, this crystal showed you your, like, who are you really? Like, reveal your true identity. And then he reveals his true identity to the Sorrel siblings, and then I think like the cutscene from the very last chapter should play. Because I think that fits right there. And then you have a battle with Garen. I know it's like super early, but listen, like, hear me out on this one. So you defeat Garen 12 chapters earlier than you're supposed to, which is like the half of the idea here. And when Garen is dying, he turns to his old self for a few moments, and he tells the group to go to Vala, to Anankos, and they don't really understand what he's meaning by that, but Ashura does. Ashura knows what he's talking about. And she is telling the group that they should go to the Bottomless Canyon, right? And then from here on out, the story progresses as it should in Revelations. I would say. I think they should mix Revelations with the other ones. Because as its own game, it just doesn't... I don't know, it just doesn't work very well. Because if you play Revelations, you know that everything up to chapter 17, I think, is pure fluff. It's like nothing special happens, really. It's just Corin walks around Hoshida and Nor trying to find people to join him or her. That's literally it. There's so many chapters that are just rehashed and used over again. So I think it would be better if they meshed Revelations with not Core Quest, but with Conquest and Birthright, respectively. And I'm not gonna talk about the Birthright story in this one, just Conquest. So yeah. So that's how I want to fix this, kind of, like, somewhat at least. I mean, it's not a perfect solution, after all. So yeah, they go to the Bottomless Canyon, and I realized that we haven't really met Sakura at all. She hasn't really been in the story. I don't know where to put her right now. I mean, like, they have the rest of the Hoshin royal family in captivity except Sakura right now. So I think she is in, probably in Hoshido with Yukimura, probably, and her retainers. That sounds about right. Yeah, I don't know what to do with Sakura right now. I mean, this is like, I've thought about this solution a lot, but it's like such a huge thing to just try to change the story of a game that it's already finished. It's like, yeah, at least I'm trying though. So yeah, as I said, after chapter 15, the story, like, chapter 16 is obviously going to be the battle with Garen. So in chapter 17, they are going to Vala. And I think that, honestly, I think Iago should try to stop them. Because he knows, like, for some reason, I don't know. But he knows that, what, or does he though? I think that chapter 17 should be somewhat like the chapter 17 or 18 in Revelations, except with all the with like no extra units joining you, just you and the units you have. And Iago is going to try to stop you from going to Vala because, well, he doesn't want. For some reason, he knows about Anankos. I don't know. So he doesn't want them to go. I know this sounds like really cheap, kind of, but that's what I had in mind, though. For the stories to merge a bit. And they defeat Iago, and they go to Vala. And Scarlet isn't even there, so she can't die. And Gunther, I'm not sure. I don't want Gunther to be a bad guy, because I think it's the whole thing was so dumb, honestly. Like, just Gunther, like, being a bad guy, it was so weird, man. I don't know. But he has, like, they have defeated Garen, so he doesn't really have a reason to be a bad guy anymore, you know what I mean? Like, Garen's dead now. So yeah, they go to Vala, and I think, like, they have, like, I think you have, like, 9 chapters in Vala or something. It's not a whole lot. But I think they should have extended the time you spend with Mikoto, Arit, and Sumeragi a little bit more, so you get to know them better. Because Mikoto and Sumeragi only get 1 chapter each, and that's not a whole lot. So I think they should have 2 chapters each, at least, like 2 battles with them. So you get like, and they would, then will, especially the Makoto chapter. I'm not gonna try to wrap my head around changing the maps, because I know the maps in Vala are not especially that fun. They're full of gimmicks and really tiresome mechanics, and it's not really fun. But as I said, they should like the Arit arc is fine. I mean, she has a couple of chapters to grow on, but I think they should extend the conversations a bit to make Asha like talk more about how life was in Vala before Anankos actually did anything. To talk about a little bit more how her relationship with her mother went and how it was. I mean, who is Ashra's dad? Can we get to know that? Can we get to know who Corin's dad is? Like, as you can see, I have a lot of questions, even though the game tried really hard to answer it, because Sumeragi is not Corin's real dad. So it's like, there's a lot of stuff I want to know, but the game doesn't really tell you unless you buy DLC, and I think that's not how you should fix a game story. But yeah, the Anthony arc is just gonna disappear. I think it's stupid. Corin has enough betrayers as is. It's just dumb, really. Alright, so now that we established that Arit, Mikoto, and Sumeragi are going to have like a couple of chapters extra to build more characters, to develop their characters more, to get to know them better. And then I think like, would it be actually such a dumb idea? Like, maybe Gunter should be, like, controlled by Anankos at the final chapter, at least. Because at least, with the story at chapter 15 and how he comes back and how he tells you the story about his family dying and blah, 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 I think you connect a little bit more with Gunter than you usually would. So maybe he actually betraying you would actually be a little bit of a plot twist. I don't know, I thought it was kind of dumb, but maybe if they did that and buffed his stats a lot, maybe it'll work out. Maybe. Because he's a joke as a boss. He really is. At least in the main game, I mean. But yeah, maybe we should do that. Honestly, I feel the two final chapters are fine as is. Like, battle-wise, they're awesome. I like them a lot, actually. But I wish they were actually, I don't know. I feel like they were kind of good as is, yeah. I mean, I like them. I mean, they were kind of difficult, but not. I don't know. I like how the final battle actually worked out, like as it looks. But why are we in space? Like, can somebody answer me why the characters are in space in the final battle? I don't understand. But yeah, they defeat Anankos. And when I think about it, Anankos isn't really that much of an interesting character either. He just appears out of nowhere, really. So maybe, instead of having the chapter with Gunter, maybe we should have a chapter with Anankos, an extra one. At least so you get to know him better. Because I think he doesn't really get, like, as a villain, he doesn't really get fleshed out that much. He just is. He's just a villain. He's just there. So yeah, maybe. Yeah, I'm just throwing out ideas right now. So yeah. The ending is cheesy as all hell. I honestly laughed because it's kind of funny. But I don't know how I would change it, honestly. Yeah, I got nothing on the ending. Except for the fact that Xander becomes king of Nor. Ryoma becomes king of Hoshido, and Ashura becomes queen of Vala, and that's it. Corrin should not become the queen. Corrin should not become the queen or king of Vala. I mean, yes, it's their home country, but still, Ashura should be the queen, really. But yeah, I think that about wraps up my entire solution thing. So, if you guys enjoyed this video, please sure to leave a like and a comment. Tell me what you guys think about this, because I spent a lot of time on it. I really did. I mean, it was a lot of work. I tried my best to try to alter the story a bit, the maps a bit, and trying to story to make more sense that it currently is. So. Yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video I make.